welcome to AJ Kelly Park here in Redcliffe for this semi-final clash in the Football Queensland Premier League between Peninsula Power and South United. Peninsula Power wrapped up the Premiership weeks ago. It feels like almost a lifetime ago that they soared to the top of the table and never looked back. They went through the entire season unbeaten. They're up against Souths, who scraped into fourth spot on goal difference over the Sunshine Coast Wanderers. It was devastating for the Sunshine Coast team, but that won't bother South United at all. Just quickly run you through the teams here today. In Peninsula Power are, as you'd expect, Reesby in goal, Matt Boyd, number 3, 4 Dan Cooner, number 6 Ramon Close, number 7 Dean Briggs, number 8 Josh Woolley, number 10 Tom Strickland, the captain Richard Hurlin, number 12 Alex Warrilow, 15 Sam Roper and 16 Luke Plummer. South United, a couple of unexpected changes. Haruna Merovic is not in the side today, and of course Ethan Grimley is missing with a long-term injury as well. Declan Murphy in goal, Andy Butler, Jack Kabassi, Ethan Smith, Jack Piper, Greg Gurley, Joey Masuda, Josh Anderson, Jake Taylor, Brody Kenyon and Kado Aochi are all in the starting lineup. None of this would be possible without the sponsors, and Peninsula Power proud to announce that Wright International Freight and Furnace Commercial Furniture are the sponsors of their Football Queensland Premier League senior side. And South United, they'd like to thank AMJ Metal Roofing for their continued support. Peninsula Power in the blue have broken first from their pre-match huddle, and South United down to the left of your screen in the green and white stripes have now broken themselves. A Total Tools referee keeping watch over today's proceedings. They're bringing out the big guns. It's Paul Eldridge. He's assisted by James Sherry and Cameron Fawcett. It was a cracking encounter the last time these two sides played here at AJ Kelly Park. 4-3 it finished in round 9, not 3-2 like I said in the pre-match car park preview. Peninsula Power needing a 92nd minute strike from Ramon Close to get the 3 points, and it is worth mentioning that Penn Power only dropped 2 points all year. That came in a round 11 draw with Logan. The scene is set. Their semi-final, their final opponent is confirmed. Eastern Suburbs getting up over Logan Lightning. 3-0 was the scoreline there. And now it's just to find out who they'll be playing and who will be hosting that grand final next week. Early free kick over in front of the stands, which was oddly silent in the build-up to this game, and that was all due to the fact that the Peninsula Power women have been playing down in Logan against Pine Hills in the Elaine Watson Cup, and it's already been a successful night for Peninsula Power. They won the Elaine Watson Cup by 2-0. Chelsea Martin and Brittany Whitfield bringing the goals for Power, and they'll be hurrying back north out to the Peninsula and out to Redcliffe to join us here at AJ Kelly Park, no doubt, so they can celebrate hopefully a semi-final win for what has been an otherwise exceptional season for Peninsula Power this year. They'll be playing in the National Premier League's Queensland next year, and no doubt they'll give an incredibly good account of themselves there. And plenty of people are looking forward to seeing them in that competition. They make their way upfield now. Here's Ramon Close. He has plenty of experience in the National Premier League's Queensland. Goes back to Cooner. Cooner has to go wide now to Hurlin. Welshman, Athlete of Llanelli and Cumberland Town. Played in the USA in the college system, Iceland and Sweden as well. I won't pronounce the names of the Icelandic or the Swedish team at risk of embarrassing myself. It was bad enough with the Welsh ones. Here he is now, the 34-year-old. Briggs lets the ball do the work, but he's up against a pretty tough opponent. Now that near side, it was Jack Kabassi. And it will be a corner kick
Tommy, one in front of him, one behind him.
that Dean Briggs will take. He's managed 20 goals in the season so far, Dean Briggs. 5th in the Golden Boot standings, a fair way behind the leader in that competition, Eli Scholl. Managed a whopping 35 goals, but here comes Briggs again. He provides goals as well and swings his ball into the back post. Was there a touch? Certainly what Declan Murphy was pleading against. And after some deliberation, Paul Eldridge decided that there was no touch and it will be a goal kick. Normally a pretty intense atmosphere here at AJ Kelly Park. It's quite subdued earlier. I think the Power fans haven't had too much to bother them so far this season, especially not in the league. They managed a fairly decent cup run again, although failed to make it to the national stages, knocked out by Lions, who of course in turn were knocked out by Adelaide United on Wednesday night down at Perry Park. Seen the whistle go, and there's a little bit of concern for a Souths player here. We are going to need the physio to come onto the field, and it's not good news for Verdan Besibezovic, South United coach. Managed 66 goals did Souths. It's the third most in the league, but way off the tally that Peninsula Power managed. 42 fewer, in fact. Peninsula Power ending with 108 goals in the league. It's Tom Strickland who, so apologies, Josh Anderson who got the knock for South United, and he's just wandered over to that side in front of the clubhouse with the Tifos storm from the north, the Power, the Blue Brothers. Lots of colour, lots of vibrancy in the stands here at AJ Kelly Park, and Peninsula Power will certainly give a good account of themselves and be a welcome addition to the league. That's good football from South, but the ball breaks down. No foul. It was Gurley who conceded what Peninsula Power are certainly thinking was a free kick. Josh Woolley was asking Paul Eldridge in less than polite terms as to why that wasn't a free kick, and Paul Eldridge does not stand for much back chat. Close, just has the better got of him there by Jack Kabassi, and he goes wide to Taylor, and Taylor attempted to find Aochi, but all is cleared at the first opportunity by Matt Boyd, who scored against Souths in round 22, that 4-0 victory at Wakeley Park. Flicked on by Kenyon, but back now with Warrilow, former Reviews United and Sunshine Coast player in the National Premier League Queensland. Strickland does well and goes wide now. Erlin. Briggs was caught. And Briggs gets another couple of metres inside from where that foul perhaps should have been given from, and it's Warrow who goes up that far side, wants it back, receives it back, puts the cross in deep towards where Briggs is waiting. Lovely control from Briggs. That's excellent work. There's 4 men in the penalty area for Peninsula Power, excluding Dean Briggs, and a corner is for Wash-Up, and South United already on the back foot early here. You'd have to say the South's defence will need to be on top of their game in order to perhaps try and salvage something from it, but let's not write them off just yet. It's early in this one as the bodies fly and Declan Murphy goes to ground. It's fallen at Dean Briggs' feet now. Deep cross by Briggs, it's headed back inside, and it was Matt Boyd who was there trying to get a touch goalwards. Nothing doing, so Dan Cooner will race over and take the throw in. Nice ball inside to Roper. Roper's dispossessed, and Sass will clear up towards Aochi, who has been his typically ruthless best in front of goal. 16 from 24 games, including 2 hat-tricks. Scored 98 goals in the Brisbane Premier League. 111 odd appearances, or just over 100 appearances. Knows where the back of the net is. So does this man, Ramon Close, and Ramon Close wins a free kick against his opposite number, Greg Gurley. And Greg Gurley, the former Holland Park Hawk, and Logan Lightning player. A little bit miffed at that decision. Gurley doing what all good former players does, and scored against Logan earlier this season for Souths. Here's Briggs. Good effort from Briggs now, wasn't far away. Couldn't add to his 20 goals so far this season. And another former Holland Park Hawk moved to Peninsula Power last season. He'll have liked what he saw there, and so will his coach, Aaron Phillip.
Seconds.
Strong header by Hurlin. Won't be moved around too much. Here's Close. Close, it's opened up for Close. He could have perhaps gone wide, you'd have thought. Instead, he wins a corner. More pressure being piled on the Souths United goal in these early stages. Another good corner, really good corner. Murphy had to leap, had to do everything he could, and Penn Power trying to win another corner, and they get the next best thing, which is a free kick. Only about 10 metres away from the corner flag. It's a silly position to give a free kick away from, you'd have thought, but here's what it is. A little bit slack from Souths. Here's Hurlin. It's worked out for Souths. Deflection off the back of Butler, and Souths on the counter-attack now. Aosi, who's offside, is he? Had to be close. The assistant on this near side didn't raise his flag, but that's not the fashion to raise your flag immediately. Perhaps waited until a touch was made, and as it happens, play was allowed to continue, and that was the right call. Peninsula Power coming back upfield, although are forced back to Hurlin now. He switches over to that far side in front of the grandstand, which is getting more populated. Here for this semi-final clash. That's a delightful ball in. Perhaps Josh Woolley would have been a more appealing target had the goal not looked quite so big from that angle. Sam Roper could and should have done better, perhaps. The early stages in this one, though.
Joshy, that's good, in and up. Joshy, in and up.
Just easing into things this season. That's good pace shown there by Roper, but he can't keep it in. South's throw. A lot of space on this near side for Butler. Butler looks for Aochi. Aochi, low centre of gravity, does well. Comes back to Butler. Butler with the shot. Not far away at all for Souths. What a turn up for the books that would have been to take the lead here at AJ Kelly Park. And just showed that Souths are a threat. Good enterprising football, and everything as you'd expect going through their experienced frontman Kato Aochi, the 29-year-old Congolese star striker, so prolific over the course of his career here in Brisbane, performing on the state stage of South United in this inaugural season of the Football Queensland Premier League. Masuda mops up the scraps.
Well done, Richie.
There, and that ball is launched upfield. Plenty of time for Plummer to control, despite being chased down by Aochi. Still managed to squeeze the ball away, but it's going to come straight back towards him, and he's going to have to be alert again, and is. Excellent work, and then a nice little shimmy in the rarefied air upfield. It is worth noting that every single one of the starting lineup for Peninsula Power have scored goals this season in the league. So it wouldn't be uncommon to see a centre-back get forward and put the ball in the back of the net. Just went a little bit too far there for Josh Anderson, the captain and former striker star from 2013. Couldn't keep it in, but here's Kato Aochi. It's a poor error at the back, and Aochi just bundled off the ball. Just does enough, does Dan Kuna. And then Power now will break, back inside to Close. Close is squeezed off it. Either side really able to get their foot on the ball for any real length of time over the course of the last couple of minutes after Peninsula Power dominated the early proceedings. That breakout strike from Souths just perhaps breaking the shackles somewhat. Lots of sliding going on, and wash up is a goal kick, says Paul Eldridge, but he needed a bit of a glance at both his officials. And as this is right, made the decision. Just a reminder to check out the social media channels for Football Queensland for all your news this finals season. Instagram, Facebook and Twitter at Football Queensland, Football QLD for Twitter and Instagram, at Football Queensland for Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you check that out. Of course, you can have your say on the poll in the Instagram story. Normally, haven't done that today. Busy day here for Football Queensland. 3 semi-finals. This is the third. In the earlier semi-final in the Football Queensland Premier League, it was Eastern Suburbs who ran out 3-0 winners. So that game going to form. And as things stand, in the Women's National Premier League Queensland, the Gap are leading South United by a 1-0 and just approaching the hour mark there at the Gap, so make sure you join Darren Lutton for that one as this ball goes through towards Butler. A lovely ball to Butler, back inside. It's helped away though brilliantly by Roper. Great awareness shown there by the midfielder just to swing that ball away from any danger. That's good stuff from South United, but it's given away by Masuda. And here's Strickland. Strickland goes wide to Close. Strickland's in the middle. Close goes himself, bit too close to Declan Murphy. And they'll take a big deep breath for South United and look to go again. More pressure and more danger shown by South United. This will not be one-way traffic, even though the regular season was that way in favour of Peninsula Power almost exclusively. The Invincibles Peninsula Power will be known as from this inaugural Football Queensland Premier League season. And here's Ramon Close. Ramon Close goes down. The ball had gone. And perhaps that came into Paul Eldridge's thinking, because there's certainly contact. You could hear it from up here on our scaffold. A fairly long way away from the penalty area, and Close is just adjusting his shin pads now, so that certainly gives an indication that there was contact and sufficient enough contact. We'll just have a look at the replay now. It's a good cross. If a ball had gone, and I'd have to say the chance had gone as well. It's a good decision from Paul Eldridge. Oh, they've been made to pay though here. Peninsula Power for Anderson. Aochi. Aochi has Butler wide. It is Butler, but he had nobody in the middle. 3 Peninsula Power players there to meet that cross in, and it was Josh Woolley was able to get that ball away. With all 3 Football Queensland semi-finals being played almost simultaneously, it's well worth mentioning that you can watch all the live streams on footballqueensland.com.au/lives. If you go to that web address on the Football Queensland website, you'll be able to take your pick of the live streams. And nights like tonight, where we've had Eastern Suburbs v Logan Lightning with Rafe Griffin. The Gap against South United in the National Premier League's Women with Darren Lutton, and here at Peninsula Power against South United with myself, Simon Smale. You can take your pick as to who you want to enjoy your football with. Briggs is a little bit too clever for his own good with the back heel, and a little bit too clever in any case for Richard Hurlin, who didn't quite read the situation, and Peninsula Power will be forced to enjoy a throw-in as opposed to anything more threatening, and they go all the way back to Luke Plummer, who switches play over to that far side. Briggs is making a run inside, but Plummer does brilliantly. Sorry, it was Warrilow in the end who picked up possession over on that far side. Apologies, and it was a good run from Warrilow. Dangerous play, scored a hat-trick this season. Just played the 8 games and scored 7 goals, so he's done all right, but hasn't scored in his last 3. Here's Dean Briggs. It's back inside, nice ball to Strickland. It's a little bit untidy on the edge though. And it's helped away, but it's not helped away far enough. Roper, close! It was a timely intervention by Piper, and he forces the corner, and after that slightly cagey spell from Peninsula Power, they have certainly come out firing as we approach the 20-minute mark here at AJ Kelly Park. It is still 0-0, but Peninsula Power certainly hoping to change that in the immediate future. Corner swept in. It's untidy, it's fallen on the edge. It's Sam Roper who got the snapshot away. Murphy got caught in traffic, couldn't fight his way out of the melee. The corners have been sensational from Peninsula Power. They've put Declan Murphy and the South United defence under all sorts of pressure. As yet, they haven't made that vital breakthrough.
Tommy, watch your shoulder, run up.
Too many real key saves, Declan Murphy, yet. That will change soon, perhaps almost immediately. Lovely ball out wide to Briggs. Briggs cutting inside, Close is in the middle, he's offside. It doesn't matter though, because Dean Briggs goes himself. That's goal 21. It's the opening goal of the finals, and Peninsula Power lead by a goal to 0. You had to say it was coming. And come it did. It was a delightful ball across, right into the path of Briggs, who's been lurking on this left-hand side with intent. And he cut back inside again, puts it straight past Murphy. Lovely finish.
Let's go, come on.
And he either didn't see Ramon Close or completely ignored him. That was probably all the best, because I do think Ramon Close had strayed into an offside position by the time a cross was able to be played in. And South United now have a mountain to climb. They trail Peninsula Power by a goal to 0.
Richie, red zone for a couple.
In the round 9 clash earlier this season, Tom Strickland had given Peninsula Power a lead in the 34th minute. It took less than 10 minutes before Penn Power were 2-1 behind. So Aaron Phillip just saying to one of his players to get back into the red zone, and is to avoid conceding so soon after scoring. And it's very wise. You are at your highest risk of conceding after scoring, they say. A little lapse of concentration, start to think it's going to be easy, and Peninsula Power could be excused for thinking that they've had it relatively easy all season. Conceded just one goal every 127 minutes. They've not conceded. Not conceded now for about 167 minutes of football. 7 clean sheets in a row. They're on their way to an 8th. Well, there's plenty of football still to be played in this semi-final in the Football Queensland Premier League. Last time they conceded was in the 76th minute. A 3-1 victory over Southside Eagles all the way back in round 18. Josh Anderson will be looking to rectify that situation, but he can't quite get his foot on the ball, and it'll be left to Sam Roper and now Dan Cooner to just settle things down at the back and bring that ball forward towards Briggs.
Get a shake now, let's go!
And the stats are quite remarkable. 36 consecutive goals without conceding now for Peninsula Power. It's been a remarkably dominant performance in the league. That's excellent work from Greg Gourley. And now South United may well hit back. Aochi was lurking, and it needed a very good block to get that ball away from danger. It was Matt Boyd who was back there. Former Easts man. Playing a vital role in denying Aosi what would have been a golden opportunity to hit straight back to South United. The danger hasn't passed though, and it's crept in. It'll be a second corner. Ball has come near side, and Paul Eldridge won't insist that the ball is taken from this near side. You see some referees, I won't say nitpick, but insist the proper procedure is being. That's a brilliant, brilliant corner, and it's somehow scrambled away by Peninsula Power. She was in amongst it there, and now Peninsula Power are coming away up the other end, and here's Richard Hurlin, just chips that ball back inside to the middle. It's deflected away by Masuda, and that's a strong challenge by Sam Roper, who's gone down and is holding his knee. It might have been an unpleasant one, just a little knock perhaps with the studs. Just have a look again. It was scrambled away and hacked clear by Ramon Close. That could have been very unpleasant for Peninsula Power. We said that it's within those next few minutes after conceding. Yeah, there's nothing malicious in that challenge from Sam Roper, just a knock inflicted of his own volition, you'd think. Touch from Anderson, but he couldn't keep his balance, and Luke Plummer just creeps in to help it out to Woolley. Berlin lets the ball do the work, and dummies. Gets the ball back to keeper Reesby, and Kado Aosi's gone down. What a warning sign, and what a blow this will be for South United if he can't continue. The ball is played out, and Kado Aosi could be in a spot of bother here. We'll have a couple of moments. Perhaps get that injury assessed. He scored 16 goals. Josh Anderson scored 13, so wouldn't be a disaster for South United, but boy, it wouldn't help if Kado Aosi, their real focal point up front, is not able to continue. reminder, but on the 29th of September, state's best junior and senior futsal players will be on show when the third edition of the South East Queensland Futsal Premier League kicks off. Torani United, Bundaberg Wildcats, Galaxy FC, Moreton Bay Futsal, Redlands United Futsal and Sunshine Coast Wave are going to contest a 10-week home and away season before the final series in early December. For more information, visit the website at footballqueensland.com.au. That website, of course, you can get all your information, your previews, your reviews, and now by tacking on /live on the end of footballqueensland.com.au, you can catch all the live streams and take your pick as to which live stream you want to watch. That will be footballqueensland.com.au. All your information on the National Premier League's Queensland men's and women's competitions and the Football Queensland Premier League. She's limping off, and there's a shake of the head from the 29-year-old, and the way he's removing his strapping makes me think that Iosi is not going to be able to continue. What a blow that would be for South United. Vedran Besibejovic. To look to his bench. No, I don't think Iosi is going to be able to continue. What a blow that will be. Here's Hurlin, but trying to soften the blow is Andy Butler, but with no focal point up front, it's very difficult for South United, and that's a huge error by Kabassi. That allowed Woolley in, and Woolley again! He hammered that ball, and the flag was up on that far side. That might save his blushes, because perhaps if he just placed that ball, it would have been 2-0 to Peninsula Power. Of course, the flag was up, so it wouldn't have been. So that substitution is made. Sama Al-Salah comes on, the former Acacia Ridge and St George Willawong player from last season. Spend a lot of time in the Strikers junior setup. Good. Al-Salah. But there'll be no more Kado Aochi in this game, and having scored in the last two and being in relatively good form, that is a real body blow for South United chances in this match. He scored the third in the 4-3 defeat here in round 9. And Brody Kenyon just tried to flick that ball onto Al-Salah, who's wearing the number 11 jersey for South United. The numbers not quite as clear as they might be on the green and white hooped jerseys of South United, but nevertheless, that's the number he's wearing, and that's what we have to work with. It's good from South United, perhaps rallying after losing their striking talisman go off injured with the knee. It looked like the left knee. But Aochi was gesturing towards him. That's a delightful ball to Butler. Butler can't quite squeeze it into the substitute Al-Salah. How's that for a challenge from Greg Gurley on Josh Woolley? That's an interesting ball, and it had to be dealt with by Reesby. Just drifting in at that back post. Might have crept under the crossbar as well. Well watched though by Reesby. Played all the way through the BPL with Peninsula Power. Been there for a long time. Has been sent off this season for an altercation with Jordan Freena, who was also shown red on that occasion. And if the scoreline stays the same, it will be a reunion of sorts here at AJ Kelly Park. Eastern Suburbs winning the previous semi-final by 3-0. Came against the Logan Lightning. And so it will be the two teams that will be playing in the National Premier League's Queensland next year. We will be playing off for the big prize, the Football Queensland Premier League Championship Trophy next week. All the details of when that game will be streamed will be available on the Football Queensland Facebook page and social media channels at FQPL, when they are known to be very early next week, I would have thought. So dropping back and helping out his defence, and now Masuda just playing with fire a little bit in the form of Ramon Close, who chased him down, and South's just working the ball out from the back and doing so well. Anderson wide to Al Salak, who wouldn't have expected to be playing this match, just 30 minutes old, and leaves a defender in a heap. That's good work from Al Salak. That's a good ball. Unfortunately for South United, it was only Luke Plummer who was there. Now Matt Boyd will look to get that ball upfield. Lovely touches, and there was a foul spotted by our Total Tools referee, Paul Eldridge. And Power will take that one fairly quickly, and here's Briggs. Apologies, it's not Briggs, it's Hurling. That was Briggs, who was dispossessed by Captain Josh Anderson. Kenyon goes back. Gurley and Bassi getting in each other's way there. A little bit of miscommunication amongst South United, and they're going to have to communicate a little bit better than that if they're to get back into this game. They're trailing by a goal to nil. It was a fine goal by Dean Briggs. All his own work. It came in the 22nd minute, and South United will have to do without Kado Aochi for the rest of this game. He was substituted with what looked like a left knee injury. So a huge blow to South United, who crept into the final series on goal difference ahead of Sunshine Coast Wanderers. How's that for a bit of skill from Strickland? Scored 2 goals in round 9, and then a further goal in round 22 against South United, so he'll be looking to add to his tally against the green and white. First, it's Andy Butler up the other end. He's challenging Matt Boyd, and Matt Boyd will just let that ball run out. Boyd flips that ball out towards the corner flag. I think he knew he didn't get a touch. And surely a team with Peninsula Power's firepower wouldn't need to be wasting time with 55 minutes or so of this match remaining. Surely not. Dangerous ball, and it was a 50-50 over on that far side. Ethan Smith managing to come out on top and winning the throw-in for South United. Just by racing up and putting pressure on his opponent. It might be a blueprint for South United to perhaps get something from this clash. Those of you unaware, promotion has already been decided from the National Football Queensland Premier League. Been commentating on the National Premier League Queensland too much. Football Queensland Premier League action tonight. Promotion to the National Premier League Queensland has already been decided. That is Peninsula Power and Eastern Suburbs, courtesy of finishing first and second on the ladder. Now we're being a distant first for Peninsula Power, 20 points ahead of Eastern Suburbs. It finished 70 points out of a possible 72 is not a bad return in your first season at this level. Lovely flick inside by Briggs, off that ball from Hurlin. Masuda mops up, but it's picked up by Kuna. Kuna goes back to Hurlin. Now Briggs. Briggs trying to flick that ball through to Woolley. Boyd inside to Ramon Close. Close to Woolley. Woolley with a heavy touch. And that allows the ball to just scoot away, though. Dan Kuna picks it up. All the space and time in the world for Richard Hurlin. Scored 2 in the last 3 weeks, Richard Hurlin, and he's made a little run on this near side. Doesn't find its way through to him though, the ball. Alex Warrelay over on that far side. Gives the ball away, and it's flicked into Strickland, who's dispossessed. Ramon Close just battling, still battling. Excellent work from Peninsula Power, camping just on the edge of the South United penalty box is hurling. And that's sloppy from hurling. Haven't said that too many times, and don't say that too many times. You might have heard what Osama Al-Salah thought of that decision. We're still having that discussion with Total Tools referee Paul Eldridge. Just a little bit too physical, says the referee. That allows Peninsula Power to build again. Roper to Warriller. Strickland went down. It's a free kick in a dangerous position. Will Peninsula Power make South United pay for their difficulties in giving the ball away? Brilliant ball and a brilliant header over the top from Briggs. Briggs might be in a little bit of trouble here. Went down quite heavily. It was an excellent diving effort. He's writhing around on the ground there. Just taking a little bit of time to get to his feet. He's lucky. Sometimes you can see dislocations in those situations when players dive forward like that. Just have a look at the replay. Not too bad, it has to be said. Oh, he went down pretty heavily actually, so perhaps just knocked the wind out of his sails. And the goal scorer in the 22nd minute here at AJ Kelly Park was able to pick himself up, and he's looking a little bit sorry for himself, just holding his left hip. Just down on his haunches again, down to our left, off camera. He picks up the ball now. Lovely ball from Plummer. That's a lovely flick, has to be said, by Briggs inside to close. Here's Roper on the charge. Now Strickland. Strickland with the shot. What a save, Murphy. Leanne Susan Richardson, thanks very much for getting in touch on the Football Queensland Facebook page in the comments section. Glad you're enjoying the atmosphere at East, where the atmosphere is pumping, we're told. They'll be enjoying themselves fully, securing promotion and a spot in the grand final. Lots of support for Dean Briggs, Andrew Strickland and David Booth. Some support for Souths though as well, so that ball pinballs around. High foot, no, says referee Paul Eldridge, but he might just have a little bit of a chat now. Flag actually went up, I think, over that far side. Irene Boyd backing Peninsula Power, who'd forgotten about this semi-final. Can't believe it, Irene. Jared Ryan Masters. South United's defence not quite terrified, but they're certainly wary of Dean Briggs, who has been on fire this season. Glenn Thompson just wishing Greg good luck, and that might be Greg Gurley. Aaron Moore in love with Luke Plummer. Well worthy of your love so far. Performing admirably in this Penn Power side. That's fortunate from Ramon Close, who picks up the ball and now allows Strickland to help the ball on. Greg Gourley's family in Scotland are watching and waiting, perhaps watching too. Here's a shot over the top of the bar by Ramon Close. That wasn't far away at all. Inches over the crossbar. Stuck a team sheet on top of that crossbar. It would have been whipped off by that header. He had a bit more time than he thought, I think, Ramon Close. Former Olympic player in Redlands in the National Premier League Queensland. Played with Easts and Lions as well in the Flight Centre Brisbane Premier League. 29-year-old from Cleveland. Scored the winning goal against South United in round 9 and really should have had the second here tonight in this semi-final. Do get in touch with us on the Facebook page and your comments section. We'll read them all and we'll try and read them out as well. It's good to be part of a conversation. It's a pleasure to be bringing you this National Football Queensland Premier League semi-final from AJ Kelly Park. Simon Smale bringing you all the action and enjoying it thoroughly. South United on the attack now down this near side. This could be dangerous through Butler. Butler inside to Kenyon. Shot comes in by Gurley. Former Logan Jr. It's with the snapshot. He trots back now though. Reesby picks it up and Peninsula Power looks fairly comfortable. There's a player down just on the edge of the D for Peninsula Power, but doesn't look like an injury. Looks like a footwear malfunction. I'm sure most people would probably just say an untied shoelace. Just a touch from Briggs towards Close. Close gives it wide to Strickland. Strickland wanted to return it to Close, either Close or Woolley, and saw that Close hadn't made the run, so perhaps to change his mind to direct it to Woolley and somehow put it halfway in between the two of them. No matter, here's Boyd. Peninsula Power leading by a goal to nil. It was in the 22nd minute, midway through this first half, and here is the goal scorer, Briggs. Good save by Murphy. Keepers often spread themselves as wide as possible, but Murphy did incredibly well to close his legs on that occasion as Briggs tried to thread the needle. And that could have been 2-0, and you hesitate to say it, but in this early stage, Peninsula Power have not looked threatened, and since Kato Aochi was forced to withdraw with what was a left knee injury, could have been all sorts of problems for South United to overcome, and perhaps those problems would have been insurmountable. Here's Greg Gurley hoping to change all that. Nice touches from Gurley, back inside to Kenyon. Kenyon to Anderson. Scored 13 goals in 23 games this season, the former striker. Been with Souths all the way from their meteoric rise from Capital League 2 in 2015, all the way up to the Flight Centre Brisbane Premier League in 2017, and now the Football Queensland Premier League. He scored 25 goals in 24 matches in Cap 2, having just moved from strikers where he played 2 games. 36 for the under-20s in the 2 seasons at strikers in those inaugural 2 years of the National Premier League Queensland, scoring 13 goals. Perhaps Cap 2 was a level too low for Josh Anderson. Scored 43 in 68 appearances in the local leagues, Football Brisbane competitions. Reesby rose highest and earns the adulation from the crowd. That's sloppy. That's the adulation went to his head. Gurley switches play. That's a nice ball. That's a lovely control. A little bit too heavy, and that allowed Strickland to come away, and Power will pass the ball out as we tick over into time added on at the end of this first half. Power leading by a goal to nil. Just a goal alert for you. 3 minutes to go in normal time, and Lane Sunderland, slots it home for the Gap to double the lead. It's 2-0 now to the Gap over South United. If you want to catch the end of that game during the half-time interval, just switch streams and join Darren Lutton. I'm sure he'll appreciate your company. Not far away from half-time here. See a first-time shot fly high over the bar. It's disappointing end to another promising move from South United, who are not out of this game. It's only 1-0 after all. Peninsula Power not yet been made to pay for their missed opportunities, in which they've dominated possession.
Ramon, get in here!
Time will be ticking over. Total Tools referee Paul Eldridge taking a long look at his watch and brings his whistle to his lips, and that will be half-time. Great first half. Totally agree with you, Riley Navarrete. We're keen for more as well, and there will be more after these short messages. South United trailing Peninsula Power by a goal to nil. Peninsula Power went unbeaten all the way through the regular season in the Football Queensland Premier League, and as things stand at the moment, that run will be set to continue for a 25th straight game. Thanks to the opening goal, which was scored by Dean Briggs. Lovely ball across the middle that opened up all the space. There's a lot of space available on this left-hand side for Peninsula Power. Briggs ran onto it, cut back inside, and then powered a shot past Murphy, who was helpless. He's pulled off a couple of really good saves to keep Souths in the hunt, who did lose Kado Aochi in what was a real body blow midway through that first half after going a goal down. And it will be an uphill battle for Souths United from here on out, but anything can happen in the semi-final. We'll be back after these short messages. Don't go anywhere unless it is to go and check out the closing stages of the gap against South United in the National Premier League's women. 1-0 here. We'll see you after these messages.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Over the top of Hepburn, and Souths have scored!
I could watch them all day. Even though here, you don't feel like you need to. These are the moments I'll remember. You see, to me, it's not so much just having us all together, but finding a place that really brings us together. That's what makes Oaks Oasis special. When you only get a few chances, it's important to make them count. After all, memories don't make themselves.
Football is my favourite. I love playing it with my friends.
When I score a goal, I celebrate and dream of playing for the Caltex Socceroos.
And this is where it all starts, with the Aldi Mini-Roos kick-off program. I grab my shin pads, boot bag, drink bottle and bowl, then join my mates for some fun.
It's great. We learn new skills every week through games and activities. These help us learn about teamwork and respect for others.
My mum cheers me on the sidelines. She loves watching me play. She likes it that football is such a safe sport.
But best of all,
We make lots of new friends.
And if we are lucky, we might run into the Aldi Mini-Roos ambassadors.
wow, it's Archie Thompson, he's a legend. And Steph Catley from the Westfield Matildas, she is amazing. Come and join Australia's biggest football program for kids. Come and join us.
We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
Today.
I could watch them all day. Even though here, you don't feel like you need to. These are the moments I'll remember. You see, to me, it's not so much just having us all together, but finding a place that really brings us together. That's what makes Oaks Oasis special. When you only get a few chances, it's important to make them count. After all, memories don't make themselves.
Football is my favourite. I love playing it with my friends.
When I score a goal, I celebrate and dream of playing for the Caltex Socceroos.
And this is where it all starts, with the Aldi Mini-Roos kickoff program. I grab my shin pads, boot bag, drink bottle and bowl, then join my mates for some fun.
It's great. We learn new skills every week through games and activities. These help us learn about teamwork and respect for others.
My mum cheers me on the sidelines. She loves watching me play. She likes it that football is such a safe sport.
But best of all,
we make lots of new friends.
And if we are lucky, we might run into the Aldi Mini-Roos ambassadors.
Wow, it's Archie Thompson, he's a legend. And Steph Natlick from the Westfield Matildas, she is amazing. Come and join Australia's biggest football program for kids. Come and join us.
We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
you believe it? Can you believe it? Over the top of Hepburn and South have scored.
Welcome back to AJ Kelly Park, Brotherhood Football Queensland Premier League semi-final, and Peninsula Power are leading this one by a goal to nil. Dean Briggs in the 22nd minute. South United really up against it. Kato Aochi was substituted midway through that first half after suffering a knee knock. I went and spoke to him in the half-time break, and it was just a collision that he had with Jake Reesby, totally accidental. Just feel it cramping up slightly and couldn't risk running after the ball. And he noted that it was a shame because he felt that he was starting to get into the game and starting to cause the Peninsula Power defence a few problems. And I have to say, I think he was right. But what's done is done, and South United can't think about what might have been. They have to deal with the situation at hand, and that situation is overcoming this one-goal deficit. Nobody's managed to beat Peninsula Power in the league so far this season. They did, of course, lose in the cup to Lions, and lose quite dramatically in that final local round before the national rounds took place. So they're not invincible, they're just pretty difficult to beat. When they're playing football like this, It's very hard to even get the ball off them. Here's Warrilow. Warrilow nicely skips past one. Jay Taylor, who's got a fairly heavily strapped right thigh, has to be said. Looks up, and we might have an injury here to Josh Woolley on this near side just in front of us. He's really feeling a knock that he just received. He's still trying to walk it off in front of us. Josh Woolley is going to be made to run after that ball sprayed through, and now can't jump to claim that bouncing ball. It was an awkward one, and with the addition of the injury, it could be something to keep our eyes on, though he seems to have shrugged it off now as he goes up against his opposite number, Masuda. Ethan Smith. He was well blocked out. Warrilow goes back to Reesby. Reesby under pressure, slip though, at an inopportune moment from Josh Anderson. Close. Woolley. Is Woolley still feeling that foot? I don't think so. He's being encouraged to keep running. Bit of this conversation. We're incredibly close to the benches here in our commentary position at AJ Kelly Park, and we can hear every word. We will apologise out of courtesy for some of the language, but this is men's football, and occasionally the language is a little bit R-rated. Do the best we can to talk over it. Those who've listened to me commentating the National Premier League Queensland and I have no problem talking over people. It's good control from Anderson, now flicked on. Sorry, Strickland. And now Close, chasing down Murphy. Murphy hurries that one away. It's going to come straight back to him. Lovely flick. Strickland can't pick the ball up though, and now South United will break. Smith cuts inside. Has to be said that Anderson was clattered to ground. A rather sensible tackle, if you like, by Sam Roper, the former Redlands United player from the NPL. Played 13 games last year, did Roper for Redlands, who narrowly avoided relegation to the Football Queensland Premier League this season. He's helped on its way, still bouncing around the penalty area, and helped all the way back in by Usama Al-Salah, and he couldn't quite direct it towards a man, and the substitute for Kado Aochi just unable to have a real positive impact on this game so far.
They put themselves under all sorts of pressure.
They'll work their way out in front of the main clubhouse through Briggs, and that main clubhouse rose in adulation for the Elaine Watson Cup winners, who have returned from Logan, and they've brought some silverware with them. That silverware was paraded in front of the clubhouse to much cheering. The girls now enjoying watching the men's team try to do the business here in this Football Queensland Premier League semi-final, and they are doing the business so far through that man just on the ball now, number 7 for Peninsula Power in the blue.
Tommy, get us back in.
It's a nice looking ball in. It was a little bit just too far ahead of Brody Kenyon. Idea though, and South United are not out of this one yet. Just been told that we're having some small issues with the clock. I'll try and keep you updated best I can from our stadium clock here. It's just over 5 3/4 minutes gone in this second half. And that is being addressed, that issue, as Ramon Close goes past his man and puts the ball towards the edge of the area. Briggs was lurking. Never got to him though, and I think he was just winding up to have a crack at one. Couldn't quite squeeze it through. Here is Close. Uses his body and the ball to great effect. Now Roper. Here's Strickland. Briggs. Helped over the top, but helped away by Taylor. Not gone far though, not far enough anyway. Masuda. Here's Ramon Close. Ramon Close has got men all around him, and that weight of bodies did eventually pay for possession for the Peninsula Power, and Souths scramble the ball away. An advantage is not forthcoming, so Total Tools referee Paul Eldridge blows his whistle, and he's just going to have a little discussion. But Josh Anderson, and sorry, not Josh Anderson, Tom Strickland, apologies, and may have heard Paul Eldridge just telling Mr. Strickland to watch his mouth and watch his language. Vastly experienced referee Paul Eldridge. I mentioned before the game that he doesn't take much lip, and that would have been his way of saying to Tom Strickland and by proxy the rest of the players on the field that if you're going to keep talking like that, I'm going to start writing names down. Good block from Luke Plummer, but ball is still squeezed away from the danger zone by the Power defence. Touch from Woolley. Warrilow wants the return ball, does Woolley. It's too far ahead of him and players are sliding around all over the place. Warrilow wants that ball to go out. It does. Now he wants a runner. Josh Woolley doesn't want to move too far, and perhaps he's still feeling the effects of that collision. There's another little collision there. It was Strickland who was bearing the brunt of a Greg Gourley challenge. And now Strickland picks the ball up, mugging Masuda. It's an option now for Briggs. Briggs, 2-0! Gourley is furious with Joey Masuda, and he really let fly. Josh Anderson picking up the pieces. But here in the 54th minute of the game, Dean Briggs has grabbed his second. He now has 22 from 23 matches this season. And Souths United are really up against it, and they're going to have to start rolling the dice. The dice is being rolled in the form of Nicola Souza, I can tell you. He is being brought on to replace Jake Taylor, who is limping his way off the field and sits himself down.
Joshy, that's good. Joshy, stay there, you're good. In and up.
That's another glorious finish from Dean Briggs.
Let's go, in and up. In and up. Pause up.
And Peninsula Power, when they open up, can really start causing problems, and it's perhaps worth mentioning that Peninsula Power have scored more than 5 on 9 occasions so far this season. I'm not suggesting that the scoreline is going to blow out quite that much, but it's just an indication that they can score plenty of goals. They scored 13 more than anyone else in the competition. 108 goals in 24 games. 42 more than Souths over the season. And they have threats all over the park. Every single one of the players on the field, outfield players that is, has scored in the league this season. Only Jake Reesby letting the side down. If that can be the word, he's done his job in keeping 7 clean sheets in a row.
Get the box.
We're approaching 700 minutes since Peninsula Power last scored in the league. And Masuda's getting in the way of his own man then, Greg Gurley, who gave him a spray after Souths conceded that goal. And that's a nasty collision over on that far side. Have a look at it again. Players crowding around our Total Tools referee. There's Masuda getting in the way of Gurley again, and then Gurley just taking his frustration out, I think. It's legitimately went for the ball, and I think a yellow card is perhaps a fair response. Well, we have the break in play. It's worth mentioning that the Football Queensland action does not finish here at AJ Kelly Park this weekend. There are 3 further games tomorrow. I'll remind you what those are when we see the result of this free kick. Aldridge blows his whistle. Pinballing around, South United do get the ball clear and will hope to break now. Through Anderson. Anderson uses his body well, and then Sam Roper helps the ball out. Those games tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Olympic take on Western Pride. That's 2nd versus 3rd in the National Premier League's Queensland. I'll be on location at Goodwin Park to bring you all of that action. And if it's anything like the last few Western Pride games that we've had the pleasure of bringing you from the National Premier League's Queensland, we'll be in for a real treat. Midway through that game, if the women's game is more your thing, then you'll be able to hop over to join Darren Lutton at 4 p.m. He'll be live on location at Richlands to bring you Lions against the Raw NTC. Josh Wooley goes down. No card. And then 7 o'clock, it's the National Premier League's Queensland Premiers Lions taking on Moreton Bay United. Rafe Griffin will be at Lions Stadium in Richlands to bring you that match. Of course, that will decide who will take out the Queensland Championship this season. Lions hoping to do the double. Moreton Bay hoping to reach their 2nd final in a row, as indeed are Western Pride. Western Pride, of course, making the final last year from 3rd spot on the ladder. Could see a repeat of that dramatic 2017 grand final. Clever free kick. Very clever free kick from Hurlin, but it doesn't quite come off. Murphy picking up the ball, and now South United look to play this ball upfield. I have a feeling Salak might have been offside. No flag from that far side of the field, and then very cool and calm by Jake Reesby to get that ball upfield. Here's Matt Boyd. Says a lot about Peninsula Power's relative dominance, but we haven't really mentioned Matt Boyd all that much. Souths have had chances, but haven't really made Reesby work too hard. Murphy, on the other hand, has had to make a couple of saves, and his side are still trailing by 2-0. Play on, says Paul Eldridge. That's excellent refereeing. Ramon Close. Roper. All the space in the world for Woolley on this near side. The ball can't get to him. It'll get to him now. Masuda will chase him down. Inside quickly to Warrilow. Warrilow to Close. And Close gives the ball away to Josh Anderson. You might have heard the despair cry. And here's an opportunity for Al Salak. Salak goes past Reesby, but Reesby gets a touch and gets just enough of a touch. And then Al Salak doesn't use Greg Gurley, and Gurley flings his hands out in disgust, as he well might. Decent cross from Roper, but there was nobody there to capitalise, and that opportunity from South United on the counter-attack came to nothing, and now they're under siege again. Here's the goal scorer, Briggs. Can he make it a hat-trick? He can't get through the masked green and white shirts, and now another long ball upfield towards Al-Salak. Finding a little bit of joy there are South United at the moment. Now Gurley cutting back inside into trouble. Just enough of a touch by Warrilow to disrupt that pass. Now Anderson slips, gets straight up there. It's good from South United.
Massive turnover.
Al-Salak.
Shut it down.
That's a really good tackle. A really good tackle, and that allows Peninsula Power another opportunity to break. On the run is Tom Strickland, but it's too far ahead of him. Piper getting in the way. The former Lion. Outside of the boot. Ball. Getting a bit scrappy. Souths, as you'd expect, starting to throw everything at Peninsula Power. They've got nothing to lose, other than conceding again, but already 2-0 down. They need a goal soon if they're to get anything from this match. Here's Alex Warrilow. Has a lot of space. Masuda will surely be lacking confidence after being hammered a couple of times by his teammates. Gives that ball away. That's sloppy. A little bit nasty from Ethan Smith. Left his foot up, and he's going to be shown a yellow card. And Josh Woolley is still down on the ground.
He kicked his knee off, mate.
Watch how he walks off, mate.
Should have been a second anyway, but you know that.
Oh, he's fine now. Southern's fine, eh?
While we have this little break, just a reminder that the futsal, South East Queensland Futsal Premier League is kicking off on the 29th of September. 10-week home and away season, leading to a final series in early December. Visit footballqueensland.com.au for more information. Merlin puts that ball into the danger zone. And it was a substitute, Nicola Souza, former Strikers junior. And I thought helped that one on, but it's not the decision of referee Paul Eldridge. There was another touch afterwards that I missed. Josh Woolley.
Here
comes Warrilow. Tried to squeeze that ball through to close, and instead it ends up at the feet of Greg Gurley, and Gurley has options now for South United. This is captain Josh Anderson. Gets the space on this near side to Roper. Or to Kenyon, apologies. Anderson. Back to Gurley. Tried to squeeze that one through to Kenyon again, but it's a diving header. That's the ball away. Alex Warrilow doing his defensive duties as well as getting forward so far in this second half, and indeed in the game so far. Masuda gets the ball back off the throw. Simple to Gurley. Simple ball inside to captain Josh Anderson. Anderson to Smith. Wide to Kenyon. Kenyon tried to squeeze it through to Anderson, and if he'd found him, there was a clear sight on goal. That's a nice little bit of football there from South United. The ball comes off Nicola Souza last, and it'll be a throw into Peninsula Power just underneath our commentary stanchion here at AJ Kelly Parks. The home side here leading by 2-0. They dominated everybody with the Football Queensland Premier League season, going through unbeaten, just dropping 2 points. 70 out of 72 points in the season. A remarkable season for the Power. They'll be playing National Premier League Queensland football next year. Space for Roper. But Anderson picks the ball up. Souths cough up the ball. Here's Strickland with space to run into. Woolley wants it on this next side. Strickland off the crossbar. It opened up for him and he pulled the trigger, and how? Crossbar's still rattling. He has another go. Josh Woolley that time. The crossbar's still moving. That was some effort. From Peninsula Power, who are so close to grabbing a third. First through Tom Strickland and then through Josh Woolley. Strickland's already scored 3 over the course of the 2 games against South United so far, and that's another ball aimed towards Dean Briggs that has to be dealt with, and is. Souths now have this ball through, but that's sloppy. Dan Cooner just comfortably mopping up possession there. Strickland, how about that skill? Look at the ball and look at the space for Josh Woolley to cut back inside. Doesn't find its way through to Close, who's been lurking with intent all game. Good jump by Woolley, no foul. Gourley tried to play through towards Salah. Midway through this second half, it's all Peninsula Power, and they're leading by 2 goals to 0. We're going to see a substitution for Peninsula Power. Jordan Dozy's coming on. He's scored 7 in 8. He's not going to come on just yet. The goal kick taken too quickly by Declan Murphy. Souths wanting to perhaps capitalise on perhaps a weakness that Power might have, although if they've seen one, they've got better eyes than I have. Here's Briggs. It's opening up for Briggs. It's gone wide to Strickland. Strickland! That's the wrong side of a post. And now we'll see that substitution. And the former Mitchelton man who made the move mid-season. It's the second time in as many seasons that Dozy has moved clubs mid-season. He moved from Moreton Bay United to Olympic last year. It's Ramon Close who'll be coming off. Football Brisbane Indigenous ambassador. The 29-year-old has failed to find the back of the net tonight, but he's been a menace all night up front. Ramon Close isn't going to hurry off and has absolutely no need to. Dozy comes onto the field, and South United have been working hard to deal with the powerful figure of Close. And now I have another big, tall, powerful striker to deal with. It's a power throw. We're waiting for the ball. It's a good opportunity to just check out what's been going on across the social media channels for Football Queensland. Instagram and Twitter at FootballQLD. And Facebook and YouTube, just search for Football Queensland and you'll be able to join in the conversation on the live streams. Plenty of interaction so far this afternoon or evening. Up here on what is a glorious afternoon in Redcliffe. It's turned into night. 8:30 local time here if you're watching around the world. And it's been another perfect afternoon. Just been told the clock can't be fixed, so I'll be keeping you up to date. 25 minutes gone in this second half. And that means there's only 20 minutes for South United to to try and scramble something from this game. And at what point does Vedran Besibegovic just throw caution to the wind and commit bodies forward and perhaps get caught on the break? Really puts that one a little bit too close to the byline, but it's been good. Showing a little bit of frustration by the youngster. Scored 6 goals in 18 appearances for the Power this season, has Josh Woolley, including a hat-trick against the Wide Bay Buccaneers. So, first meaningful touch for Jordan Dozy, the substitute. Wide to Strickland, and now another opportunity perhaps for Briggs. Woolley's running across the middle. Briggs with the shot. It's another good save by Murphy. But here's Woolley. He gets a shot away. He'll go again. It's hammered away. Shot comes in this time from Alex Warrilow. Is that game over? It's Peninsula Power 3, South United 0. And Alex Warrilow gets his 8th goal of the season. Apologies, it's really his 17th goal of the season. He played 18 games and scored 9 goals for the free-scoring Redlands United.
Let's go, Josh, up and in, let's go. Josh, up.
Fortunately for Redlands United, the term free conceding could also be used to describe that team this year. So they were free scoring as well, and managed 9 goals in 18 for them. He's now scored 8 in 9 games for Peninsula Power, and it was a fine finish. Murphy did well to initially deny Briggs, and then the defence did well to deny Woolley a couple of times when it fell to Warrilow so invitingly. There really was only going to be one outcome, and Peninsula Power are cruising their way into the inaugural Football Queensland Premier League Grand Final now.
Keep going, come on, Josie, keep going.
Is that a pass back? Paul Eldridge is thinking about it. Paul Eldridge thought very hard about it. You probably hear some of the conversation going on behind us. I'll try and talk over it in case it gets a bit heated. It's getting a bit heated on the field. Paul Eldridge getting straight involved himself. The discussions going on this near side between James Sherry and the Peninsula Power bench. South United looking to make another substitution. David Salin, the 21-year-old Frenchman who spent a fair bit of time up here on the Peninsula with the Power between 2016 and 17, playing 28 games. He's going to see a yellow card, in fact. Yellow card was shown. He comes back. It's been a rather frenetic few minutes. Was there a back pass? And Jordan Dozy was racing through on goal to Declan Murphy. We are going to see that substitution. David Celine replacing Joey Masuda, former Moreton Bay United Jet and Grange Thistle player. Struggled a little bit. Maybe we should have said we couldn't fix the clock earlier, because it has been fixed now, I'm told. We'll be able to bring you the last 15 minutes or so of this game. Perfect working order on the live stream. on the Football Queensland Facebook page and YouTube channel. And are we going to make things quite interesting? Or South's going to make things quite interesting from this free kick. Hooked in dangerously. Headed away. I think it was Roper who was back there. It was a great defensive header. Going back towards his own goal. Still there for Souths though. They do need to score soon if they're going to get anything from the game. Given away there by Dozy to Briggs, who plays a delightful ball to Dozy again. It's fallen now for Strickland. Strickland. That's one tackle. How's that skill on the edge of a penalty area? Dangerous areas, but excellently done. Souths follow that ball up clear. Warrilow. Did well to challenge Ethan Smith there. And Ethan Smith, who scored in that round 9 thriller up here at AJ Kelly. 4-3 the final score.
Joshy. In and up. Coming to this way. Yeah.
D'Souza takes the throw in. Pings it a long way. Those arms for left back. South's throw. Despite the protestations beneath me. Touch from Briggs on the way out. It's come back to him. Good run over on that far side by Woolley. It's behind him from Briggs, but Woolley tracks back. Briggs wants the return long ball and gets it. Lovely ball, lovely work from Peninsula Power. Excellent manoeuvring of the South United defence, but they do, in the end, get back to clear. And here's Ethan Smith. Josh Anderson, what can he do to spark a late comeback? Gurley. Al-Salak. Touch over on that far side to Kenyon. Kenyon squeezes one across. And there's another ball on the field, somewhat inexplicably. Not sure where that came from. Paul Eldridge getting his steps up by racing over and getting the ball off the field. Had to do it quickly before Jake Reesby took the goal kick. Good turn of pace from Eldridge, our Total Tools referee. Of course, with Father's Day coming up, Total Tools, probably a good place to go. All your needs, Father's Day tomorrow, and National Premier League's Queensland semi-final day as well, perhaps more importantly, those of you who aren't fathers out there. Olympic versus Pride at Goodwin Park from 3 o'clock. I'll be bringing you that game. And then 7 o'clock Lions take on Moreton Bay at Richlands. Rafe Griffin will be your man on the scene, bringing you all that game. Of course, you can watch that by heading to footballqueensland.com.au/live, and you'll be able to take your pick of all the live streams. And if you so desire, you'll be able to check out the Lions against the Raw NTC game from the National Premier League's Women's Queensland competition. Darren Lutton will be at Richlands to bring you that one. Of course, if you're in the area, why not come down and check it out? Football Queensland competitions have been exceptional this season, providing some really, really entertaining football. Cameron Fawcett is the Total Tools assistant over on that far side, and he gave the ball to South United, and the cries of protestation beneath me to my right perhaps indicate that they didn't believe that that should have been a South United ball. It's a good ball into the middle though from South, regardless of who should have won that throw. It's helped out to Dozy, holds the ball up well. Now Tom Strickland takes up the charge. Strickland wants it back. It's opened up for Strickland. Plays the ball inside now to Woolley. Woolley would have been close to being offside there. Certainly marginal. John Sherry's in a much better position than we are. We need a new ball. New balls, please. Eldridge gets rid of that one, and from behind him, the ball has already been played on. Everyone on this side of the field pointing behind Paul Eldridge. Perhaps he sniffed a rat and didn't want to turn round. They weren't trying to trick you, Paul. There really is a ball on the field, and now that ball is in play. Good strong header there by Brody Kenyon. The battle going on over on that far side. It's a battle that the blue shirts of Peninsula Power have won. The ball's going upfield again with Woolley. Good control from Woolley. Woolley closes over top to Dozy. Dozy has an opportunity now. He's squared up though by the defensive work of Nicola Souza. It's still in now. Here's Warrilow, plays the ball across and couldn't find either of the two Power players running into the middle. And what a let-off that is for South United. They still trail by 3-0. But Warrilow, who scored the third, couldn't quite provide for the fourth. Might have heard the cry of anguish. Greg Gurley really unhappy that he wasn't able to put that ball into the path of Ethan Smith. Woolley again. Woolley has two up against him. Smith and Sousa. Wins the throw and takes it. Warrilow. Oh, it's an own goal, is it? No. That could have been awful. An awful way for South United to sign off their season through Andy Butler. He's managed 7 in the right end for South United this season. He's even managed a goal here at AJ Kelly Park earlier this season. We desperately have hoped not to have put that one in though. Unfortunately for him, it went the wrong side of the post, and it's only at the expense of a corner, but Peninsula Power may well still make South United pay. The Welshman Hurlan will take it. Dozy's there! And the ball was bouncing around. Boyd pounced on Declan Murphy, but Murphy in turn had pounced on the ball and managed to smother it, and it seemed to be more of a concerning touch from Matt Boyd. He gets the ball upfield, and it's now at the feet of Kenyon. Kenyon tried to be tricky and play it ball to Smith. It doesn't quite work out. Lovely trickery there from Strickland. Lovely trickery from Strickland. 2 men make the run. Neither of them were able to be picked out. Instead, it's gone wide to Briggs. Briggs cuts inside. The deflection's awkward. It is a corner. 2 men made the run. One of them Roper. One of them Dozy. He was just unable to latch onto it. And make the right choice. Well, it can hardly be said that Dean Briggs would be the wrong choice when playing the ball forward towards goal. It'll be another corner kick. Alex Warrilow has so much space, he can pick his spot. He does so. Instead, Al-Salak gets the ball upfield to Kenyon. Kenyon does well, but so does Tom Strickland. The only man back for Peninsula Power. Kenyon tries to slide that ball in to Smith. I have a feeling that Ethan Smith didn't think that that ball should have been given to Peninsula Power. But give to Peninsula Power it was, and as we enter the final minutes of this semi-final, it's safe to say that we will see the 2 promoted teams from the Football Queensland Premier League, Peninsula Power and Eastern Suburbs, fight off for the inaugural Football Queensland Premier League Championship.
Sammy, you right? Right.
Sliced by Woolley. And then Anderson dallied. Gurley with the shot. Ambitious. And Josh Anderson He's a little bit frustrated with his midfield partner there.
Joshy, we could all say we should have passed it a few more times around the box. So we all could have passed it a bit more, but we're taking that fourth touch we don't need to take.
So relaxed for Peninsula Power as it's been all season, really. Aaron Phillips able to inform Josh Woolley what Power should be doing in these situations. Woolley does well to keep that ball in, does incredibly well to go around the outside of Smith, does brilliantly well to go around the outside, goes to deck and doesn't win any favour from the officiating team, our Total Tools officiating team. Peninsula Power come away with it anyway with Dan Cooner. Roper. Cooner. Briggs is offside. Just had a look at the replay. There's no contact. There's certainly no contact worthy of a foul. Woolley, if anything, overrunning. He did incredibly well to get in the position in the first place. He's been receiving instructions from this near touchline. And they'll be very pleased what they can see. Billy Shulver is making us all jealous by telling us that he's watching Tom Strickland dominate from the kitchen with a bacon roll. If you deliver at AJ Kelly Park, Redcliffe, Brisbane. It is Peninsula Power. Will be eating well tonight, knowing that they will be hosting a grand final next week. That will be confirmed later. Early next week, we expect. You have to keep track of all the social media channels and website. Football QLD for Instagram and Twitter, and Football Queensland on Facebook and YouTube. footballqueensland.com.au will be your main source of information in the Football Queensland Premier League and National Premier Leagues Queensland, of which the semi-finals take place tomorrow. 3 o'clock, Lions against Western Pride. Live from Goodwin Park, I'll be bringing you that game, and Rafe Griffin will be talking you through Lions against Moreton Bay United in the second semi-final. That kicks off at 7 o'clock. Game has gone, but Souths are enjoying a little spell of possession now. Of course, we shouldn't forget Darren Lutton, who'll be talking you through the Lions versus Raw National NTC team competition match. That kicks off at 4 o'clock, a double header at the Lion Richlands. That ball's went forward onto the head of Kenyon, but there's no other South United players able to latch onto that ball. We're going to see a substitution for the last few minutes for Peninsula Power, and it's Isaac Colgrave who's coming on. We might see another goal first. Oh, what a save that was! Is it going to be enough? It's another brilliant save. Declan Murphy, give yourself a round of applause and let off some frustration by screaming at your offenders like any good goalkeeper should do. That's a magnificent save. First from Strickland, second from Woolley. It might mean little in the context of the game, but he's had a good one, has Murphy, for South United. And we are going to see that substitution now for Peninsula Power. And it's Josh Woolley who comes off. And Isaac Colgrave, who's making his senior debut for Peninsula Power this season, did manage to come on late in the FFA Cup last year against Brisbane Knights and scored in that game last year. So Peninsula Power made their way through to a round of 62 clash against Melbourne City just over the road as the ball pinballs around the area. It's hacked clear. Warrilow tried to squeeze that ball through to Hurlin, but never made it, and that's a lovely challenge by Alex Warrilow, making up for his own mistake. That's excellent work from Warrilow. He has been excellent tonight. Here's Hurlin. Warrilow. Warrilow, it opens up. It was always going wide. We're into stoppage time now. It's a long look at his watch from Paul Eldridge, and I dare say there won't be too much stoppage time allowed at the end of this game. As such, I'll begin by summing up. We will see first versus second, the two teams promoted from the Football Queensland Premier League competition into the National Premier League Queensland, fighting it out for the final piece of silverware of the season next week. Time and details yet to be confirmed. They'll be on the Football Queensland social media channels and website as soon as possible early next week, once the details are all confirmed. As things stand, I imagine Rafe Griffin will be bringing you that game. Lovely touch from the youngster Colgrave. And he grabbed himself another late goal here. He goes to deck. It had to be shoulder to shoulder, despite the loud protestations from both the bench to our right and the crowd. The bench, might be a case of doth protest too much. Souths get something from the night. I don't think they will. It's good defence. And then Colgrave gets in. There's nothing in that foul. Supposed foul. Just seen a replay. Not for me anyway. Shoulder to shoulder. Just didn't quite have the strength to stay up on his feet, the youngster. Still perhaps an opportunity for Souths to get something on, but Peninsula Power be wanting to keep their 8th clean sheet in a row. What an achievement that is. We talk a lot about Lions' defensive qualities in the National Premier League Queensland. Well, if Peninsula Power continue this way, then they may well be just as threatening next year, and perhaps not too much of a stretch to suggest that they'll be a real threat for the top 4 next year in the National Premier League Queensland. Certainly not beyond the realms of possibility. They've had a glorious season, and it's only getting better as time goes on. Swept in, the head of Brody Kenyon. Couldn't believe he had a free header after players jumped both in front and behind him. It's to the wrong side of the post, and I do think that will be that. Another long look at the whistle from Paul Eldridge. It was 3-0 in the first semi-final at Heath Park earlier today between Eastern Suburbs and Logan Lightning. It was the Tigers who progressed from that one. It'll be the Power who progressed from the second semi-final. They see off the challenge of Souths United by 3-0 themselves. It was a confident, comprehensive performance. They led 1-0 at the break after a Dean Briggs strike in the 22nd minute. He doubled the tally in the 54th minute of the match, giving him 22 goals so far from 23 games this season. Alex Warrilow grabbed the third in the 73rd minute to all but seal the match. And if it wasn't for the efforts of Declan Murphy in the Souths United goal, the scoreline could have been a lot uglier. Souths United hampered severely by Kato Aochi's forced withdrawal midway through the first half with a knee injury. That certainly didn't help matters. But they were never really in it and were always second best in this game. That's 3 out of 3 for Peninsula Power over Souths this year, and they will host a grand final, the details of which will be confirmed early next week. Don't forget, tomorrow another big day of semi-final action from across the state. The focus shifts to the National Premier League Queensland, starting with Olympic against Pride at 3 o'clock from Goodwin Park. I'll be on location on top of the grandstand there, so let's hope for good weather. Immediately following that, and indeed midway through at 4 p.m, Lions will host for Raw NTC at the Lion Richlands. Darren Lutton will bring you that game from the National Premier League's Women's. And then you'll see The National Premier League's premiers, Lions taking on Moreton Bay United from 7 o'clock in the National Premier League's Queensland. Rafe Griffin will be there to bring you that one. That's just about all we've got time for here at AJ Kelly Park. It's been a real pleasure to bring you this semi-final from Peninsula Power. So they've beaten South United here by 3-0. We hope to see you tomorrow afternoon in the National Premier League's Queensland for those semi-finals. I've been Simon Smale. This has been a double take production for Football Queensland. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening, and we hope to see you again tomorrow. That's all from me. Congratulations to Peninsula Power and to Eastern Suburbs. They'll meet in the Football Queensland Premier League next weekend, and we'll hope to see you there to enjoy that game. It's good night from me. Good night from AJ Kelly Park.